Hello. And again, like welcome to like my part now of this talk. And we're gonna focus today about be a leadership pioneer by focusing on your career. So who am I? Who's Claudia? And just very briefly, professional certified career mindset coach, high performing teams consultant, breathwork instructor, public speaker, and also the CEO and founder of the Leadership Pioneer. However, the more important thing is I'm really on a mission to empower corporate individuals like you to become leadership pioneers by focusing on their career mindsets and learn how to think differently about the career. And that's what we're going to talk about today. So, from my experience from my experience being 7 years in corporate across 6 different countries, as an individual contributor, as a manager, and as well as now as a career mindset coach, working with really, really amazing clients, there are some recurring themes and topics that I see coming up over and over again when it comes to our careers. And today I actually want to share with you these themes. There could be 15 themes I could share here and lessons, but I'm going to focus on 4. And I'm also going to share with you practical steps that you can use for your career moving forward. And the intention of the time that we have now together is for you to think differently about your career. And to think about your career from the perspective of a leadership pioneer. And now this is where I oftentimes would get the question, okay, but Claudia, what do you mean by, what is a leadership pioneer? Now, for me, what is a leader? For me, a leader is someone that inspires action, first in themselves, and then to others around them. And a pioneer is basically someone who is the first to explore something new, a new way forward. So after today, I just really want you to feel empowered to treat your career from the eyes of a leadership pioneer, from the angle of inspiring in yourself first and then in the others around you. And then from the angle of someone exploring something new for themselves, a new path and a new mindset for your career. Because you know what? Here's the one thing that I really learned from my 4 years as a manager in a big international tech company, American tech company, working really directly with the executive team together on a daily basis. And that is that the most important lesson is your title doesn't determine whether you are a leader. And I have seen so many people that are in leadership roles having those prestigious titles, but are not acting as true leaders. And I have seen so many people as individual contributors without the fancy titles who have been acting as true leaders. So being able to inspire action in themselves first, and then leading the way and hence inspiring others to do the same. So the point really here is whether it's a big group or a small group or wherever we have virtually or face-to-face is that I don't care what title you have. I don't care what company you work for or what position you have. I care for who you are outside of that. And I want you to understand that you can be a leadership pioneer right now, regardless of where you are in your career journey. So then how do we get to that point? And these are the 4 steps and 4 key lessons on how to get there. All right, so the first one, understand your definition of a successful career and not everyone else's, your definition. Now let's think about this for a second. The real definition of a career is a profession or occupation chosen as one's life's work. That sounds deep, no? Like it could be an occupation chosen as one's life's work. So my question really to you is, what does this mean to you? What is your occupation that you choose for your life's work? And the point really here is that I want you to take away is that it is your career. That means that it is your decision on how you want your career to look like. And it is your definition of what a successful career looks like. Not your managers, not your families, not your friends, not your work colleague. It's yours. It's your career, it's your decision, and it's your definition. When I was working at a big international SaaS company here in Barcelona, and besides being a people manager, I was also the head of the growth and development committee for an office for over 500 employees. And my responsibility was really to drive various initiatives on career development, growth, and personal development. And during that time, I've had over 100 plus, at least, career development conversations with people. And what really fascinated me is this. Whenever I asked, what is it that you want to achieve in your career? In 90% of the cases, the answer was, I want to become a manager. And in most conversations, when you dig deeper, it turns out that people actually don't really know what they want to do in career and why they want to become a manager. They want to become a manager because somehow along the way, we as a society decided that this defines a successful career, being a manager. And I was there too, by the way. So the point here is that before you actually strive for that title, you have to reflect deeply on what you really want in your career. Because here's the thing, and that also I learned a little bit the hard way the last couple of years, is that chasing the society's definition of a career will not bring you happiness in the long run. Especially if they're not aligned with your values and the things that are important to you and your life. So here's one practical action that I want you to do for yourself after we finish with our conversation today. I want you from now on, I want you today to go to your calendar and set up a recurring meeting that appears every 4 months in your calendar. Set up 1 hour and set up this 1 hour only with yourself. We have all these check-in meetings at work with all those people and outside of work, but let's have a normalized to have a check-in with ourselves and with our career. And the first question I would like you to reflect on and put into your agenda is this one. If you take away any outside expectations and you only focus on yourself and how you envision your life and career, how would that look like for you? How would that look like for you? Be honest with yourself. Write it down. There's no one watching. Just write down whatever comes to mind. All right, point number 2. Your goals can change, and that is okay. I wish this is something that I would have heard in my career a little bit earlier. So 8 years ago, when I graduated from IMC Krems, these were my goals. Become a director in a big company as fast as possible. Every single career move was aligned with this goal. I worked crazy hours a week, prioritizing work over my own self-care, over quality time with my friends, with my family, with life in general. I was determined, I was ambitious, I was a high performer and appreciated by my managers and colleagues. And then I reached a point in July 2020 where I burned out. I was only 28 at the time and had everything I really wanted. A good salary. I was one of the few leaders or managers in the data analytics world in terms of being a woman as well, which is another story, in a big company. And I worked and lived in 6 different countries around the world. I led global and big teams. Yet it didn't feel right. It didn't feel like I could be really myself. And I realized that I didn't like who I was at the time. So I realized that my values and who I want to be did not really align with my career at the time. So I did some deep work on myself with various coaches, and I understood really who I wanted to be, what my values and my personal priorities are. And I worked, and I'm still working deeply on and with myself. So now my goals are completely different than they were 8 years ago, even 5 years ago. And that's okay. My goal right now is really to be able to be my most authentic self every day, have time for the fun stuff in life, be an inspiration to others, and hopefully for you in this call today, and a coach that helps others to be the best version of themselves. Now, listen, this doesn't mean that I really regret what I have done the last 8 years. It's actually the opposite. All this experience taught me incredible lessons. The people that I met along the way, the hardships that I faced along the way, these really gave me the wisdom that I needed to open the doors of possibilities right now for me to have the career that I want to have and actually go for it. And look, this is exactly the same for you. I want you to know that it is okay and totally normal for your goals to change. In fact, they should change because you grow, because you learn, because you evolve. you meet people, you get out there, you're experiencing life, and hence you're really evolving. And with that, your goals evolve too, and that is okay. So here's the second question I want to add into your agenda in your check-in meeting. What have you learned the last 4 months that makes you want to think differently about your career goals? Just reflect, think about it. You'll be surprised that when you actually sit down and reflect on this, what answers come to you. Because there is a learning in every single situation that you experience. Okay, number 3. Be clear on who you want to be and not who you should be. Ooh, that's a big one. So in my work as a career and mindset coach, having really completed now hundreds of coaching hours with really incredible people, there's one thing that we go through that I do in this session to give you just a sneak peek into it. So I typically, in one of the first sessions, I ask them, if we were to take away your title, your status, and the name of the company you work for, who are you? And what kind of leader are you in your life? And it's deep. It's a deep and profound question. And it usually takes a several sessions to actually go and work with these questions. Why? Well, because here's the thing. All these things like your title, your status, the name of the company you work for, does not define you. Those are external validations. They do not define you on who you are. What defines you are your values and how you're living by them in your day-to-day, and whether you're able to be the best version that you want to be. And, chasing all these external validations and achievements are not what will give you a fulfilling and happy life. And I'm not saying that they are not good. They're good as milestones and experiences and learnings if they fit into your definition, excuse me, of your career, and as long as they are in alignment with your personal priorities, values, aspirations, and who you want to be. Because this is where leadership starts. Being clear on these 3 things, your values, your priorities, and your aspirations. So the third question I want you to add into your agenda for your regular check-in is, if we take away your title, the company name, your status, who are you right now? And what kind of leader do you want to be in your life? Who do you want to be in your life? What kind of leader? And who are you right now? And when you reflect on this question, I really want you to reflect on it as there are no boundaries. There are no expectations. Like, sit with yourself, with your thoughts, write them down, and just imagine the leader that you want to be in your life. Fourth and last point, and something that I really wish I would have known earlier and I would have actually done earlier, is to work with a mindset coach, because you don't have to do everything by yourself. Now, listen, your mindset is basically a bunch of beliefs about a specific topic that influences how you act, how you feel, how you think. So as an example, it's hard to have or create a meaningful career. That is a mindset which is formed by the belief that it's hard to create a meaningful career. Now, as a mindset coach, I will work with that and challenge that and ask you, okay, it is hard according to whom? And what makes you think that it is hard? Who says that it's hard? What's the definition of hard? And you see, a coach supports you to see opportunities and things around you that you haven't seen yet. And those opportunities you haven't seen yet because you haven't been challenged on this deep level of your beliefs and mindset. And those are typically coming from your childhood, society, the environment you're in. And there's just a way to let go of those old past beliefs and create new ones and a space for a new mindset to emerge so that you can be really the leader of your life that you want to be. And as a coach, I can point out things for you in just a few sessions that you would otherwise take really years to figure out. And that is just huge. And don't take it only from me. If you really look around you, people doing the impossible things in the world, whether it's athletes, CEOs, whatever, politicians, Olympic athletes, they all work with a mindset coach or work deeply on a daily basis on their mindset. And even though I'm not so much into basketball, I think everyone really knows Michael Jordan, one of the apparently best basketball players in the world. He says it. He says, in the game, it's 80% about your mind and 20% about your physical. 80% about your mind and 20% about your physical. And you know, that is exactly the same with your career and life. And honestly, what took me too long to understand in my own career is that you don't have to go through your career alone. True leadership starts, or true leadership pioneers really act so that they inspire action in others by exploring a new path, and mainly a new path within themselves and in their life. So investing in yourself by working with a coach is leading the way and leading by example. You have to work on yourself first. You don't have to work on anything else outside. You have to work on yourself first before you can be the leader that you want to be in your career and life. So the last question I want you to add into your agenda in your career check-in meeting is, what is really blocking you to become your own and true leadership pioneer? What is blocking you to become your own and true leadership pioneer? So write those beliefs and thoughts down. Just write them down on a blank piece of paper. And then think about and invest in yourself and do yourself a favor by working with a career mindset coach to deconstruct those beliefs that really block you and hold you back, and make space and create a path for you that lets you flourish to be the true and your very own leadership pioneer in your life. So as a summary, feel free to make a screenshot of this as well, if you'd like. 4 lessons for you to keep in mind after today and to keep in mind for a career. Understand your definition of a successful career, not everyone else's. It's yours. Your goals can change, and that is okay, because you change and you evolve. Be clear on who you want to be, not who you should be. It's your life. Work with a mindset coach because you don't have to do everything by yourself. And remember, in your career check-in meeting, put these questions, feel free to make a screenshot, put these questions into the agenda, and just use the same 4 questions every 4 months to reflect and to sit with the answers that come out there. And honestly, if there's really just anything that I want you to take away from today, is this: that your true happiness and true fulfillment in your career and life comes from working on yourself first and aligning your career and life based on your values, your priorities, what's important to you, and who you aspire to be. And you know, in order to achieve that, you have to sit with yourself. You have to reflect. You have to go inwards, and you have to become more self-aware. Check-in after check-in after check-in. Because as David Goggins, I hope I pronounced his name right, the world's best ultra endurance athlete, says, the most important conversation you will ever have are the ones you have with yourself. Are the ones that you have with yourself. So plan the check-in meeting with yourself today. Plan the first one this week and set yourself a recurrent meeting invite for the next 4 months. And do the first real and simple and practical step to become your very own leadership pioneer in your career. Because I believe in you. And I know that you got this.